All right, welcome in to another episode of the GT Sports Keep It 100, the podcast where I talk professional and college sports. And I'm coming here to recap last night's NBA games. There were three games, three good games. I've been paying attention to the playoffs and watching every game every day. I've got to start off by saying that the first round series, they've been very good. I think Oklahoma City uh, is the only team that swept the Phoenix Suns. I think every other game, East and West, they're still playing, or Portland's gone now. But I mean, that was the only sweep. Most of these games are going to 5+ games. Some are starting to go to a game seven, a decisive game. So for NBA fans, it's a lot of fun to see. I didn't expect this many games to be this competitive early on. So that excites me because as we go into the next couple of rounds, or the next round, I should say, round two, it should be another competitive series that possibly goes 6 or 7 games. So I love watching it. I love the competition. So I'm excited about where we're at here as far as the playoffs. But I'll recap some of these games, give you my thoughts like I do here on the 100. I'll start off with the New York Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks. The Knicks win the series 4-2. They win the game last night 140-89. So the New York Knicks will now advance to the second round. I'll talk about the Knicks first. I've been on the record as saying that is not my team, right? I do not want to see this team in the NBA Finals or win a championship. But when I look at their roster and I look at what they have, I thought they've underperformed more times than not this year. I thought this team should have been in the first seed in the East. I think they're the best team in the East, especially with all the injuries that have happened now. You know, Tatum is back for Boston, but I still think New York is better than Boston. They just don't always play that way, right? There's a time where you'll see them play like they did last night, where you're thinking, man, this team's going to get to the finals. And then, the next game, they look horrible. But they came out last night. They were ready. They were focused. They knew that they didn't want to go to a game seven, obviously, back at home. They were determined to end it there in Atlanta. I mean, they scored 40 and 43 in periods one and two. This game was over in the first quarter. I mean, I stuck around to watch the second quarter to see if maybe Atlanta would come back, but minutes before halftime, I just shut it off. I said, man, I don't want to watch this game. It was very disinteresting to me. It just seemed like New York was going to win. I think they won by 50, 51 points, which is amazing to me that a team like Atlanta playing at home would have that energy from their fans, win the game, and let's go to game seven, right, and see what happens. And that's not the case, right? Atlanta just came out flat. They looked like a team that, well, first of all, the Knicks were with high energy. Like I said, they were focused. They were ready to play. They wanted to win this game. I mean, they were ready to go. For Atlanta, they showed nothing. They showed like a team that had quit. They got punched in the mouth, never recovered. But they didn't look defensively ready. They're turning the ball over. They were missing shots. And look, sometimes in games, offensively, you don't start the game hot, right? So you play tough defense. You hunt down the other team. You go after every loose ball. You do whatever it takes on the defensive side. And you play hard until some of those shots fall. Hopefully they do fall, right? But this team didn't hit shots, turned the ball over, and looked like a team to me that didn't want to be there. And they got their butts kicked. And I know Atlanta's better than what they showed. I know that the Knicks, to me, I thought were going to win the series. But Atlanta is not a bad team. New York is not 50 plus, 40 plus points better than Atlanta. So this was all on Atlanta. I think Quinn Snyder is a good coach, but he did not have this team ready to play. And this team wasn't ready to play. And the people, and I feel sorry for their fans because you're at home. The fans go there to cheer you on, to watch you play a great game, and then you play this way and you lose by 50 plus is unacceptable. And if I'm a fan, I'm pissed. Like I'm pretty sure the Atlanta Hawk fans are because your team didn't show up. They showed nothing of a fight to want to win that game and advance or take it to a game seven in New York. Look, when you get to a game seven, I've always said this. It obviously in this situation, the advantage is for the New York Knicks. I think they're the better team. I think they're playing at home. They're going to have the crowd behind them. All that's an advantage, right? But if you're Atlanta and you were able to win last night and go back to that game seven, you're saying we've won here before. And then in a game seven, anything can happen, right? Injuries, fouls, foul trouble. Someone can get hot off the bench. You're cold. You just can't buy a bucket. When you go into a game seven, no matter where you play and who has the advantage, anything can happen. If you're a team that isn't in a game seven, but you shouldn't have been there, you should have ended, but you couldn't. It's dangerous, even if you're playing at home, because anything can happen and anyone can win that one game. So, look, I thought if Atlanta won game six, I still thought that the New York Knicks were going to win the series. But I said, man, you never know what can happen. Anybody can get hot. Injuries can happen. Foul trouble can happen. I mean, this is anybody's matchup, right? It's going to be good. I did not see the Atlanta Hawks coming out in game six like they did at their house and play this way. It's disappointing. And frankly, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. You know, if I'm a player or a coach, I'm embarrassed. They should be embarrassed, and they probably are. For the performance that they put up no fight and got their butts kicked, man. And so it's horrible. And look, you're going to have to live with that taste in your mouth until next year. That's the thing. You can't get back on the court tonight or the next day. You've got to be able to see this. And maybe this will fuel them for next year. I don't know. Maybe they'll take this and they'll say, look, this will be what fuels them going into next year. It should, right? But nonetheless, this was a bad performance. They had an opportunity to take this to a game seven and possibly win it. But you cannot play a game six at your house in the playoffs. And if you lose, you're eliminated and come out with that type of performance. So they should be embarrassed if they're not for the performance that they put up. And look, we'll see what happens next year. So I'm just disappointed in the Hawks and the performance that they put out there. Like I said, I couldn't finish. I didn't even watch the second half because to me, I flipped it over. I think I was watching the Celtics and the 76ers. They were playing on another network. But bad for the Hawks, the way they end this. They came out with no energy. It came out flat, and like a team looked to me like was didn't care about winning. They were not focused or ready for Game 6. For the New York Knicks, man, you play like this and this next go around, and they're going to be a tough out. They're capable of playing this way. The question for the New York Knicks is this: can they play like this every game? Can they give this type of effort every game? Because if they do, this is going to be a tough out for New York. Try to beat them 4 times in the series. And if they play like this, I don't see why this team won't be representing the East in the NBA Finals. But again, let's see. We got to take it one game at a time because they are known to come out and lose focus and not play to the capabilities. But a great win. And again, the studs for New York in Brunson and Towns had 12 points. Brunson had 17. So neither one of them hit 20. But because of the point spread there, they were winning by so much. Everybody, I think, got involved and got to play. Everyone scored off their bench. But again, it's nice to see New York play with that type of energy. The defense, the turnovers, they were just everywhere. Playing as tough defense and winning by, I think they won by 51 points. So a good win for them. We'll continue to talk more about New York as we get into the second round, and I do a little bit more research on New York and their next opponent. For Atlanta, I mean, they made a trade for Trae Young. I think they got better in that trade. And at times in this series, they showed to me like a team that had a chance to beat the New York Knicks, right? Especially the way New York played in some of these games. But at the end of the day, you know, they're a good team. Just for whatever reason, I didn't see the interviews afterwards why they came out to play like this, but it's unacceptable. And because of the way that they came out to play Game 6, they got their butts whipped, and their season is over. So I thought they did good. I think it's a talented team, but they're out. New York is in. and they'll be in the second round, and we'll be talking about them. So just wanted to come out and kind of recap that and give you my thoughts. Been very disappointed in Atlanta and the way they came out to play Game 6. And I feel bad for their fans because paying that money to go out there and support your team and watching your team give that type of performance is unacceptable. So the Hawks should be embarrassed, and they probably are. So I'll come back here in a bit later today. This video will be uploaded, and then I'll give you my thoughts on the Boston Celtics 76er series. That is going to a Game 7. It's going to be a good one, so I'll give you my thoughts here in a bit, and I'll talk about that game. Until then, I'll be back. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.